For years, Blake Shelton built an image as country music's easygoing star. Fans saw the jokes, the charm, and the love story with Gwen Stefani that seemed almost perfect. But recently, something unexpected happened. During a moment that caught many by surprise, Gwen revealed details that Blake had kept out of the public eye. The revelation quickly sparked questions across the music world. Was this simply a misunderstanding, or had a long-hidden truth finally come to light? Long before the headlines and the rumors, Blake Shelton and Gwen Stefani lived in very different musical worlds. Blake Shelton's story began far from the bright lights of Hollywood. He was born in Ada, Oklahoma, a small town where country music was part of everyday life. As a young boy, he grew up listening to classic country songs that filled the air on local radio stations. By the age of 12, Blake was already learning how to play guitar. Music became more than a hobby. It became a dream. After finishing high school, he made a decision that would change his life. Like many young artists before him, he packed his belongings and moved to Nashville, Tennessee. The city was known as the heart of country music. But the journey there was not easy. For years, Blake worked hard to find his place in the industry. He wrote songs, performed small shows, and waited for the opportunity that every young singer hopes for. That moment finally came in 2001. His debut single, Austin, quickly climbed the country music charts. The song told a simple but emotional story about lost love and second chances. Listeners connected with it immediately. Soon, the track reached #1 on the Billboard Hot Country Songs chart and stayed there for 5 weeks. Almost overnight, Blake Shelton became one of country music's newest stars. His deep voice and relaxed personality made him stand out. Fans loved his humor, his honesty, and the way he sang about everyday life. Over the next several years, Blake released hit songs like O.L. Red, God Gave Me You, and Honey Bee. With each album, his fame continued to grow. Meanwhile, on the other side of the music world, Gwen Stefani was building a career that looked completely different. Gwen was born in Fullerton, California. Growing up in Southern California exposed her to a mix of musical styles, from ska and punk to pop and new wave. In the late 1980s, she joined a band called No Doubt. At first, the group struggled to find success. For years, they played small venues trying to build a following. But everything changed in 1995. That year, No Doubt released the album Tragic Kingdom. The album included the hit song Don't Speak. The emotional ballad quickly became one of the most played songs on radio stations around the world. Suddenly, Gwen Stefani was everywhere. Her unique voice, bold fashion style, and energetic stage presence made her one of the most recognizable performers of the decade. As the lead singer of No Doubt, Gwen helped bring ska and pop rock into the mainstream. The band toured across the world and sold millions of albums. Then, in the early 2000s, Gwen began exploring a solo career. Songs like Hollaback Girl, Rich Girl, and What You Waiting For showed a new side of her creativity. She mixed pop, hip-hop, and dance music into a sound that stood apart from traditional rock. Her solo albums became massive successes. By the time the 2010s arrived, Gwen Stefani had already spent more than 2 decades in the spotlight. But despite their fame, Gwen Stefani and Blake Shelton seemed to exist in completely separate worlds. One belonged to country music. The other ruled pop. Their audiences were different. Their musical styles were different. Even their lifestyles seemed different. For many years, there was little reason for their paths to cross. But television would change that. In 2014, Gwen Stefani joined the coaching panel of the popular singing competition, The Voice. The show brought together well-known artists who guided young singers as they competed for a recording contract. Blake Shelton had already been part of the show since its first season in 2011. On stage, he was known for his quick jokes and playful personality. The audience enjoyed watching him tease other coaches, especially fellow country singer Adam Levine. When Gwen joined the panel, viewers immediately noticed the chemistry between her and Blake. Their conversations often felt lighthearted and natural. Blake joked about country music. Gwen laughed and responded with her own playful comments. At first, fans simply enjoyed the entertainment. It seemed like two famous artists having fun on television. But behind the bright lights of the studio, both singers were quietly going through difficult moments in their personal lives. In July 2015, Blake Shelton announced that he and fellow country star Miranda Lambert were ending their marriage after 4 years together. The news shocked many fans of country music. Around the same time, Gwen Stefani faced her own painful chapter. After 13 years of marriage, she separated from her husband, musician Gavin Rossdale. Both artists suddenly found themselves dealing with heartbreak while continuing to appear on television each week. During filming of The Voice, they began talking more often behind the scenes. What started as friendly conversations slowly turned into something deeper. They understood each other's struggles in a way few people could. As weeks passed, their bond became stronger. Fans watching the show began to notice small moments, shared smiles, quiet conversations, and a growing sense of comfort between them. Soon, rumors started spreading in entertainment news. Was there something more than friendship? At first, neither Blake nor Gwen confirmed anything. But the world was watching closely, and before long, their connection would grow into one of the most talked about relationships in modern music. But the story behind their relationship was far more complicated than the public ever realized. In late 2015, something unexpected began to capture the attention of music fans around the world. Blake Shelton and Gwen Stefani, two stars from very different musical backgrounds, were suddenly at the center of a growing romance. At first, the idea seemed surprising to many people. A country singer from Oklahoma and a pop icon from California did not seem like an obvious match. But as the weeks passed, their connection became impossible to ignore. The two had grown closer while working together on The Voice. The show placed them side by side as coaches, guiding young singers through intense performances and emotional eliminations. Cameras often captured their playful conversations during the episodes. Blake joked easily. Gwen laughed freely. For viewers watching at home, the chemistry between them felt natural. Yet behind those light moments was a deeper story. Both Blake and Gwen were dealing with heartbreak at the same time. Earlier that year, Blake Shelton had ended his marriage to country superstar Miranda Lambert. The divorce was widely reported and came as a shock to many fans of country music. Only weeks later, Gwen Stefani announced her separation from Gavin Rossdale, the musician she had been married to for 13 years. For both artists, the breakups were painful and highly public. Suddenly, two people who had spent years performing for millions were facing very personal struggles under the bright light of fame. During filming of The Voice, they found comfort in talking with each other. Those conversations slowly turned into something more. In November 2015, rumors began spreading through entertainment news. Photographs of the two stars together appeared online. Fans began to wonder if a new relationship had formed. Soon, the couple confirmed the news. Blake Shelton and Gwen Stefani were officially dating. The reaction was immediate. Headlines appeared across entertainment websites and television programs. Social media filled with comments from fans who were both surprised and curious about the unexpected pairing. Some people questioned whether the relationship would last. Others were simply happy to see two artists finding support during a difficult time. As the months passed, Blake and Gwen began appearing together more often in public. They attended award shows side by side, smiling for cameras as photographers captured every moment. One image showed them holding hands backstage at a music event. Another showed them laughing together during an interview. Slowly, their relationship became one of the most talked about love stories in the entertainment world. But it was not just their public appearances that kept fans interested. Their music also began to reflect their connection. In 2016, the two performed a duet called "Go Ahead and Break My Heart." The song told a story of love and vulnerability. As they sang together on stage, the emotion in their voices felt real. Fans watching the performance noticed the way they looked at each other. It was more than just a duet. Years later, they released another song together called "Nobody But You." The track quickly became a favorite among listeners. Its lyrics spoke about finding the one person who truly matters. When Blake and Gwen performed the song live, the moment often felt personal. The audience could see their bond. For Blake Shelton, the relationship revealed a different side of his personality. Known for his humor and relaxed attitude, he now spoke openly about love and commitment. In interviews, he described Gwen as someone who had changed his life. Meanwhile, Gwen often shared how Blake helped her heal after a difficult chapter in her personal life. Their fans followed the story closely. Photos of the couple appeared regularly on social media. They celebrated holidays together, shared funny videos, and supported each other's projects. Sometimes Gwen appeared at Blake's country concerts. Other times Blake joined Gwen during special music events. The mix of country and pop felt unusual at first, but over time it became part of their identity as a couple. By 2019, their relationship had already lasted several years. What once seemed like a surprising romance had grown into a stable partnership. Still, the public continued to watch every step of their journey. Then, in October 2020, the couple shared a major announcement. Blake Shelton had proposed to Gwen Stefani. The engagement took place in Oklahoma, near Blake's ranch. Gwen later shared a photograph showing the ring as she smiled beside him. Fans around the world celebrated the news. After years together, the couple had taken the next step. Less than a year later, in July 2021, Blake Shelton and Gwen Stefani were married in a small ceremony held at Blake's ranch in Oklahoma. The wedding was private but beautiful. Photos later revealed a quiet chapel surrounded by green fields. Close friends and family attended as the two artists promised to spend their lives together. For many fans, it felt like the perfect ending to a story that had begun during a difficult time. Two people had found love after heartbreak. Two artists from different worlds had built a life together. Their relationship seemed strong, joyful, and full of laughter. But as time moved forward, some observers began to notice small hints that things might not always be as perfect as they appeared. Occasionally, rumors surfaced online. Some stories suggested that life in the spotlight created pressures that even the strongest couples had to face. Still, Blake and Gwen continued sharing happy moments with the public. They performed music together. They joked during television appearances. They supported each other's careers. To the outside world, everything seemed stable. Yet behind the smiles and stage lights, quiet whispers continued to grow. And years later, one unexpected revelation from Gwen would bring those whispers back into the spotlight. For many years, Blake Shelton and Gwen Stefani appeared to share one of the most stable relationships in the entertainment world. Their love story had been watched by millions. Fans saw them laughing on television, performing together on stage, and supporting each other through interviews and public appearances. Their wedding in 2021 seemed to confirm what many people believed, that their relationship was strong and built on trust. But then, a small moment changed the tone of the story. It happened during what seemed like an ordinary conversation. Gwen Stefani was speaking during an interview, and the atmosphere felt relaxed. The discussion moved through familiar topics: music, family life, and her career. First, everything sounded light and casual. But then Gwen mentioned something about Blake that caught listeners by surprise. Her comment was not loud or dramatic. In fact, it sounded almost playful. Yet the words hinted that Blake Shelton had been keeping certain habits and personal choices away from the public eye. The moment passed quickly. However, in today's world, even a brief comment can spread rapidly. Within hours, clips from the interview began appearing across social media platforms. Entertainment news programs replayed the footage. Online headlines began asking questions. What exactly had Gwen meant? Fans listened closely to the clip, trying to understand the meaning behind her words. Some believed she had simply shared a private detail about Blake that the public had never heard before. Others believed the comment hinted at something deeper. Soon, speculation began to grow. Online forums and social media posts filled with discussions about Blake Shelton's life behind the scenes. Some users suggested that the country singer had always been careful about what he revealed to the public. After all, Blake had spent decades in the spotlight. Over the years, he built an image that fans recognized instantly. He was the easygoing country star with a quick joke and a relaxed smile. But fame often shows only part of a person's life. As the conversation continued online, some reporters began looking back at Blake's past interviews. They noticed moments when he spoke about the challenges of living in the public eye. There had been times when he joked about avoiding certain questions from reporters. Other times, he spoke about enjoying quiet life on his Oklahoma ranch, far away from cameras and crowds. To many fans, those comments had always sounded normal. A famous musician wanting privacy was not unusual. But after Gwen's unexpected remark, people began examining those past statements more closely. Was there more to the story? Some entertainment outlets suggested that Blake may have chosen to keep certain struggles away from public discussion. Being a major star meant facing constant attention from the media. In that environment, many celebrities decide to protect parts of their personal life. Other observers argued that the situation might have been misunderstood. They pointed out that Gwen had not made a serious accusation. Her tone had sounded light, almost humorous. Perhaps she had simply shared a small detail about Blake's personality. Yet the internet rarely leaves such moments alone. As days passed, the clip continued spreading across news sites and social media platforms. Headlines began using dramatic phrases that made the moment seem even more mysterious. Fans continued asking questions. Some wondered if the comment revealed hidden struggles that Blake had never spoken about publicly. Others believed the entire situation was being exaggerated by media attention. Meanwhile, neither Blake nor Gwen immediately offered a clear explanation. Their silence created even more curiosity. Every new interview, every public appearance, and every social media post was now watched more closely than before. If Blake joked about something during a television appearance, fans tried to read deeper meaning into his words. If Gwen mentioned her husband during an interview, listeners wondered if she would say more about the comment that had started the conversation. Slowly, the image of the perfect celebrity couple began to shift. The relationship itself had not changed overnight. Blake and Gwen still appeared together at events. They still supported each other's music and careers. But the way people looked at their story was different. The public had once seen a simple romance between two artists who found love after heartbreak. Now, curiosity had entered the picture. Fans wanted to understand what Gwen's comment truly meant, and reporters began searching for answers. They started exploring Blake Shelton's life away from the stage, looking for clues that might explain the mysterious remark. But as more details began to surface, the situation became far more complicated than anyone expected. The moment Gwen Stefani's comment began spreading online, reactions followed almost immediately. What had started as a short remark during a relaxed conversation quickly became a major topic across social media. Within hours, fans around the world were sharing the clip, posting their opinions, and asking questions about what Gwen might have meant. Some people believed the moment had been blown out of proportion. To them, it sounded like a small and harmless comment between two people who knew each other well. Others felt the remark hinted at something more serious. On platforms like Twitter, Instagram, and online discussion forums, thousands of posts appeared within a single day. Fans began debating the meaning behind Gwen's words. Some users defended Blake Shelton strongly. They pointed out that Blake had spent more than 2 decades building a career in country music. During that time, he had earned a reputation as someone who spoke openly and honestly. His humor on television and his relaxed personality made many fans feel they knew the real person behind the fame. To them, the idea that Blake had been hiding something significant seemed unlikely. Many supporters argued that celebrities deserve private lives just like anyone else. Even if Blake had personal habits or struggles that the public did not know about, they believed those details should remain private. Meanwhile, other fans looked at the situation differently. Some people focused on Gwen Stefani's honesty. Over the years, she had built a reputation for speaking openly about her life, especially through her music. Songs about heartbreak, relationships, and personal growth had always been part of her story. Because of that, some fans believed her comment might reveal a deeper truth. They suggested that relationships are rarely as simple as they appear from the outside. Even couples who seem happy in public may face challenges that few people ever see. Soon, the discussion moved beyond social media. Entertainment news programs began reporting on the story. Television hosts played the clip during celebrity news segments. Commentators offered their interpretations of what the moment might mean. Different outlets presented different theories. Some suggested that Gwen had simply made a playful remark that the internet misunderstood. Others described the moment as a possible sign of tension behind the scenes. Headlines appeared across entertainment websites with dramatic questions. Did Gwen Stefani reveal Blake Shelton's hidden side? Fans wonder what Blake Shelton has been keeping private. The story spread quickly, reaching audiences who had followed the couple's relationship since the early days of The Voice. For years, Blake and Gwen had represented a rare type of celebrity romance, one that appeared joyful and stable despite the pressures of fame. But now the narrative was shifting. Suddenly, the public was looking at their relationship with new curiosity. Journalists began reviewing past interviews with both artists. They searched for moments that might offer clues about Blake's private life or Gwen's thoughts about their marriage. Small details that once seemed unimportant were now being discussed again. In one older interview, Blake had joked about being stubborn. In another moment, Gwen had mentioned that life with a country singer sometimes felt very different from her California upbringing. At the time, those comments sounded lighthearted. Now, some observers wondered if they hinted at deeper differences between the two stars. Meanwhile, fans continued to watch every move made by the couple. If Blake appeared at a music event, people paid attention to his words and expressions. If Gwen posted a photo online, followers examined the caption closely. Even small details sparked new discussions. Some fans noticed when the couple appeared together less often on social media. Others pointed out that both artists were busy with their own projects. But in the world of celebrity news, even normal life events can become part of a larger story. Through it all, one thing stood out clearly. Neither Blake Shelton nor Gwen Stefani had offered a full explanation. Their silence left space for speculation to grow. Reporters requested interviews. Entertainment programs hoped one of the two stars would address the situation publicly. But for a while, both remained quiet. Blake continued performing at concerts and working on his music. Gwen stayed focused on her projects, including television appearances and fashion work. To some observers, their silence suggested that the situation might be less serious than the headlines claimed. To others, the lack of explanation only made the mystery more interesting. The public wanted answers. Was Gwen's comment simply misunderstood? Or had it revealed something about Blake Shelton that fans had never known before? As the discussion continued to grow, attention slowly turned toward one person who had not yet spoken directly about the controversy. Blake Shelton himself. And many people believed that only he could explain the truth behind the moment that had started it all. But the real impact of Gwen's revelation would only become clear when Blake finally responded. As the conversation around Gwen Stefani's unexpected remark continued to spread, attention slowly shifted to a new question. What would this moment mean for the future of Blake Shelton and Gwen Stefani? For years, Blake Shelton had built more than just a successful music career. He had also built a powerful public image. Fans saw him as the friendly country singer with a quick joke and a relaxed attitude. That image had grown even stronger during his long run on The Voice. When the singing competition first aired in 2011, Blake quickly became one of its most recognizable coaches. Week after week, viewers watched him guide contestants, tease fellow coaches, and celebrate the victories of young singers. His humor became one of the show's most popular elements. Millions of viewers around the world began to see him not just as a country star, but also as a television personality who felt genuine and relatable. Because of that, Blake Shelton's reputation had always been built on authenticity. Fans believed they were seeing the real person behind the music. Now, however, the conversation sparked by Gwen's comment had introduced uncertainty. Some observers wondered if there were parts of Blake's life that the public had never truly understood. At the same time, Gwen Stefani's role in the situation also carried its own meaning. Throughout her career, Gwen had been known for her openness. Her music often reflected her personal life, especially during difficult moments. Songs about love, heartbreak, and healing had always been part of her story. When she spoke in interviews, fans often felt she was being sincere and honest. Because of that reputation, her comment about Blake felt especially surprising. Many people believed that Gwen would not reveal something without a reason. Even if her words were casual, the fact that they came from her made them feel important. For some fans, this created new curiosity about how much of their relationship had remained private. After all, life in the spotlight often shows only a small part of reality. Celebrities attend events, perform on stage, and appear in interviews. But the most personal moments usually happen far away from cameras. Blake and Gwen had always tried to protect that private space. They shared happy memories, online family holidays, music collaborations, and moments on their Oklahoma ranch. Those images painted a picture of a joyful life together. Yet fans understood that no relationship is completely simple. As the days passed, different opinions continued to appear across news sites and social media. Some people believed the story would slowly disappear. In the fast-moving world of entertainment news, new headlines appear every day. What seems important one week can quickly fade as attention shifts to something else. Others believed the moment might have a lasting impact. They wondered whether the comment would change how people looked at Blake Shelton's public image. Would fans begin to question the easygoing personality they had admired for so many years? Or would they continue to support him just as strongly as before? Through it all, both artists continued focusing on their careers. Blake Shelton remained active in country music, performing at concerts and working on new projects. Even after leaving The Voice in 2023, his influence in the music industry remained strong. Meanwhile, Gwen Stefani continued balancing multiple roles in entertainment. She worked on music, appeared on television, and remained involved in her fashion and beauty brands. Their professional lives moved forward, even while the public discussion continued. At the same time, many fans noticed that Blake and Gwen still appeared comfortable together during public appearances. They attended events, supported each other's work, and occasionally shared lighthearted moments online. Those glimpses suggested that their relationship remained steady. Yet the questions raised by Gwen's comment had not completely disappeared. For the public, the situation became a reminder of something that often happens in the world of fame. The stories people see on stage or on television are only part of a much larger picture. Blake Shelton and Gwen Stefani had already experienced many chapters together. They had met during a difficult time, supported each other through personal struggles, and built a relationship that led to marriage. Along the way, they had faced rumors, headlines, and the constant attention that follows famous couples. Now, this moment had become another chapter in that ongoing story. Whether it would turn into a lasting issue or simply fade into the background was still unknown. Because in the end, the truth about any relationship belongs to the people living it. And whether this revelation fades away or reshapes their story is something only time will reveal. The story of Blake Shelton and Gwen Stefani has always been filled with unexpected turns. Two artists from completely different musical worlds met during a difficult time in their lives. Their connection grew into a romance that millions of fans followed closely. Over the years, their relationship became a symbol of second chances and healing after heartbreak. But life in the spotlight often brings moments that no one expects. A single comment, shared during a casual conversation, was enough to spark questions across the entertainment world. For fans, the situation served as a reminder that even the most famous relationships have private layers that remain unseen. Blake Shelton and Gwen Stefani continue to move forward with their careers, their music, and their lives together. And like many couples living under constant public attention, their story continues to evolve. What remains certain is that their journey from two different worlds to one shared life has become one of the most talked about love stories in modern music. If you enjoyed this documentary story, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more fascinating stories about music legends and the real lives behind the spotlight.